Hello, everybody. We're going to give Blake a couple. Thank you, Nancy. All right, I see Blake is on. Blake, you just need to request to join, I think it is. Blake, just request to join. There we go. I think I got it, Blake. I think. There you
We go.
are.
Hey.
Woo! That's okay. Thanks for everything. That's the hardest part, I'm telling you.
We did it. We pulled it off. We're using Instagram Live.
Oh my goodness. Seriously, that's the most stressful part. It's like, okay.
Oh my goodness. Crazy. We did it. I feel.
How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm doing good. I just got off the track. I had a workout this morning, and just getting back and just kind of settling in for the weekend and my Zoom call or my live Instagram Zoom call with you and to check in with the rest of the world and hoping everybody is sane and safe and
Yeah, absolutely. It's safe and healthy is kind of the motto these days, the key to success, I think, right now. So I'm glad to
Yes.
see you and your family's all doing well, safe and healthy.
Yes, everybody, it's me and my fiance out here in Los Angeles, but for the rest of our family, they're back in Tennessee. So it's actually interesting to see because back in Tennessee, they're opening up businesses and stores and barbershops, which I need a haircut. That's why I'm wearing a hat right now because I need a haircut.
It's funny. Every week, I think it gets to the hair. I mean, I talked about my hair. I don't know what to do anymore. I've got so much. I'm using super glue to keep it back and out of my.
Yeah. It's bad.
And the hat.
Out here in LA, we just got word that we're gonna be staying home till like August.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different hearing different people's takes and where they're at with part of the world and stuff like that. But it's good though. Things are good.
Yeah.
Life is
all good. All good. Well, we got a lot of people joining us, and it's 1 o'clock your time, 3 o'clock my time. So we'll get going. My name is Aaron Holm, and I'm with Ottobock North America. I'm the manager of consumer engagement, and joining me today is Blake Leeper. In 1989, Blake Leeper was born missing both legs below the knee. He grew up as any other young kid would, loving sports and participating in baseball and basketball, among other sports. While in college studying for his PreMed degree, he received his first set of running blades, and the rest is history. How's that?
That's good. I'm going to take you everywhere I go before I enter a room.
Before you walk in, yeah. I think that's a good idea. The bathrooms would be interesting when I walk in and say, by the way, gentlemen.
Guys, I just want to introduce to you Blake Leeper before you walk into the bath.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that, but thank you, though. But, talking about, you grew up in Tennessee, right?
Yeah. I grew up in East Tennessee. So a small, rural town in East Tennessee. And for, growing up, I was one of the few, if the only disabled child in the community. So it was not only unique or new for me and my parents, but it was new and unique and different for the community to adjust and how do we treat this child that is born missing both of his legs.
Yeah, and you didn't require surgeries, right? You were congenital and or did you
Yeah.
require some surgeries?
So I was congenital fibular hemimelia, so both of my legs
Okay.
didn't develop in the womb. So
Yeah.
I was missing my shin bones, my ankles, my calf muscles. I call myself an amputee because at the age of 4, I did have an amputation, a revision to where they basically just went in and had surgery on my legs, on my stumps, so I could fit prosthetics the best way because we made, of course, my legs didn't develop. But when people ask me how is it to be born, how is it to miss your legs? You know what I mean? For me and you, we have different experiences to where,
Yeah.
for me, I was born missing both my legs, so I never really had that feeling of what it feel like that to grow out full 2 normal legs, or for you, someone like yourself who's had their legs and lost them. You know what I mean? That's 2 different experiences that we can and cannot relate to at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So growing up, your childhood, you obviously played sports. Your parents, your family, you had a very tight family.
Yes.
Got you active right away. Got you. Were you leading that, or were they leading that? Do you remember
I
as
mean,
a kid?
it was a little bit of both. I mean, honestly, I would have to give it to my brother. My brother really led the charge. I had an older brother who was 2 years older than me. For him, he was, born healthy, 2 hands, 2 legs, everything was fine. And for me at the time, I was going in wearing my prosthetics, but seeing my older brother going out there and rollerblading, or seeing my brother going out there and playing sports, or just seeing him live life to the fullest, and then being so close to him, it was. If he can do it, I can do it as well. So I can even remember that was kind of the mindset. And so however far or high he set the bar, I would try to go get it, just in a sense of trying to keep up with my brother.
Yeah, that's great. That's a good relationship when you got someone pulling or pushing you. You want to
Yeah.
you want to do what they do. And
It
and
gets competitive. It got
and,
sometimes he would take my leg and just throw it.
oh, sure, I bet.
Like,
A little frustration,
dang
maybe.
it, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
He would cheat sometimes.
In the introduction that I stole from somewhere, it says baseball and basketball, and I've seen videos of you playing both as a kiddo. What else did you play growing up, or sports? Anything else?
Man, so I played baseball and basketball was my 2 main sports. Like I didn't, though people don't realize, I didn't get into track and field until late years in my life, till I was like 19, 18, almost turning 20 years old. But before then, the sports that I played was baseball and basketball. I ran a little bit of cross country in middle school, which was hell, because I was wearing like
Yeah.
VSPs. I was wearing these big, chunky legs,
Yeah.
running
Yeah, I
2 to
bet.
3 miles. And then, like, I remember even like the last run of my cross country season, when I was in 8th grade, and we going. It was like a mile and some change, by a mile and a half run, and we get probably about 0.3 miles out into the run, which we have to run into the woods, then run back into the finish line. A pin came out of my ankle joint.
Oh
And
no.
so I was halfway in, and so every 5 steps I would take, 10 steps, my ankle would swivel out right. So I had to finish the mile and a half run.
Oh my God.
So the race started at 11. I think I didn't cross the line to like 4. They almost did a watch party out for me. It took so
You
long.
finished. You finished
I
though,
did though.
right?
I did finish. I did finish.
Now, were you a good student?
I was a really good student. I knew back in the day, what I mean, from an early age, that I would, because of my disability, that I was going to have to work really, really hard in the classroom. I can remember one time I came home. It's kind of like one of the first times we actually brought report cards home, and I brought home all C's, right? And my my parents opened up my report card, said, "Blake, these are C's." Of course, they were trying to prove a point to me, right? And it's like, they would just seize me. And I was like, that means they're average, so we're good, right? Like we're cool. Average is okay, right?
Yeah.
So they said, okay, well, if you want to live an average life, then give us your shoes, right? Because I had all the top Jordans that always come, Kobe's Jordans, the Sean Kemp's, any new shoe that came out, me and my brother had. And it's like, well, give us your shoes. Then if you want to be average, that's fine. Then we'll give you average shoes. So I kind of seen what they was going with this. I was trying to stay tough and play the game. So I was like, okay, cool, here, take them. So then it's like, okay, give us your clothes. Because at the time, we had all brand new clothes. It's like, if you want to be average, then we'll go and get you average clothes, because all this stuff is above average, right? And still trying to play the game and stay tough, so you can have it, you can have it. But in the last one, Aaron, they got me. And it was like, give me your legs. It's like, if you want to live an average life, give us your legs, because the legs that you have are not average. And we'll go get you average legs. And quickly, that kind of put it in perspective for me, saying that whether it's in a classroom, whether it's outside the classroom, whatever I'm doing with my life, I can't live an average life, because I know if I have average legs, then I won't be able to run, jump, and play and hang out with my friends that do have legs. So really quick at an early age, even like, so when you say if I was a good student, I gave it all I got on the classroom, because I knew I couldn't live an average life. An average life wouldn't be enough for me. And that was the mindset that they instilled in me at an early age.
Wow, that's it. What an incredible lesson. And to put it into perspective for a kid that I certainly wouldn't have caught on to the average with a C, but they really put it into perspective and made you really think about the big picture. That's
honestly
very cool.
I just think like my parents threatened to take my legs away. Are we not going to talk about that part at all? Should we call child?
Well, I'm a dad too, so my mind's spinning. It's like, what can I take away to to raise the bar a little bit around here?
Legs away.
Yeah, that's extreme, but I love that. I mean, I bet. Yeah, what a huge incentive. You're back of your mind, you're like, okay, how am I going to get to school? How am I going to get to the bathroom? How am I going to do all so very cool. Very cool. It certainly worked. It obviously resonated, stuck with you for this long. So
yeah,
what a cool lesson.
And that's the life lessons that I've learned, like growing up, and I tell people, especially the disabled community, like the reason why I'm in this position now is because of the tough love that I received throughout my family members and throughout my community. If people constantly felt sorry for me, they wouldn't challenge me, right? And if I'm not being challenged regardless of my disability, like, look, I have 2 disabilities. We cannot deny that, but as you know, we have 1,000 other abilities that allows us to be successful, or take it to the top, or to push the boundaries of the barriers, or to be useful or resourceful. So when people are pushing me and giving me that tough love, saying no excuses, Blake, regardless of your situation, that's when I really start seeing the barriers break down in my life. And that's when I start seeing and rising to the next level and to the next level. It's not the sympathy or the pity or the feeling sorry for me. It's the pushing me and supporting me and challenging me and taking me to the next level.
Sure, absolutely. I'm going to try to keep up with some of these questions too. I'm really bad at this, so I'm trying to scroll. I see your dad's on, so hey, Billy. Good job, by the way, Billy, threatening to take his legs. I see a few other people commenting on that, like, my daughter's 3. I wonder how old she's got to be to take away threaten to take away her prosthetic. So I love that. Rob asked if you weren't running, if you weren't track and field or track, what sport would you be playing?
Oh man, if I wasn't running, if I wasn't track and field, it would be for sure basketball, hands down.
Okay.
Man, I love basketball. I love the whole, you know what I mean, the camaraderie, the community, the teamwork, the passing, the shooting. And for me, I love going to random parks and people seeing me being a double leg amputee, and I'm like, I got next. And they're like, okay, what's this guy going to do? He's missing his legs, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean? I go out there and I'm hitting crossovers. I play in challengers. I play in the Ottobock challengers, and just having that bounce on the court, and I'm moving just as fast as everybody else, and I'm on the fast break and beating everybody down the court. And people are like, whoa, this dude is running like me, or he's playing like me. And then they ask, oh, what do you do, man? Are you run? I tell them I run track and field. So they're like, oh, that's the track guy. So now they're looking at it. Went from a situation to where they was even questioning if I could even play, to where I'm labeled as the guy that's fast and quick on the court. And that's because of with the technology, right, that we have today and age, the mindset that I've been instilled through my parents and family. And I just love the competition. So I would be, and too, it'd be nice to bump up my legs. I wish I could be like 7 foot tall.
I got a guy. We can figure that out, right?
You know somebody? Right? Is that legal?
Oh, you know somebody too. Oh yeah, we can figure that out. I've always thought that'd be kind of fun to be able to do that. Just push a button and, how fun would it be just standing around at a party or something and you just kind of elevate yourself.
Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
Right? Just like Gadget, go Gadget, just like, boom.
Yeah, note to self. Let's talk to our R&D team. But you talked about the challengers. Those were a game changer for you. I remember you putting those on for the trial that we had set up for you. And
Ah,
you've got
man.
that spring, that you're not used to with I think you're wearing Tritons every day, but
Yeah,
those challengers
yeah.
were made for the court sport. So that was cool to see you on when they first came out.
Honestly, and I think back, the tech, if I had half of the technology, you know what I mean, or the access to the stuff that's there that they have now to this day, back when I always tell them, back in my day, right, and we're only talking about back in '05, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
99
yeah,
and the 2000s, right? Like if I had access to those things, then I feel like I would even be farther along, or would have had a better career in other sports. But unfortunately, we didn't have it. But that's the cool thing where we're at now in 2020, going in moving forward. If you're 8 years old, if you're 9 years old, or you're 7 years old, and you want to play basketball or baseball or cyclist or whatever you want to do, there's something out there for you, leg wise. You know what I mean, or
yeah,
prosthetic wise. There's a
yeah.
full range of. There's even baby blades, right? They have little miniature blades that you can probably fit on a keychain. But these little kids, these little 3-year-olds are
Yep.
just
Yeah, they
bouncing
love the
on them.
bounce.
You know
Those
what I
kids
mean? Which
love
is just
that bounce. Yeah,
yeah,
it's so much
it's
it's so
awesome.
much fun to see the kids be able to try all those running blades. Yeah, very cool. So we're going to fast forward a little bit from your youth to graduating from high school, and you went off to college, pre-med.
Yes,
What
yes.
drove you to pre-med?
Man, honestly, I wanted to be a pediatric orthopedic surgeon. I was job shadowing an orthopedic surgeon, and me going to Shriners Hospital years after years after years, and seeing the impact that how it saved my life. I thought how impactful or how amazing it could be if you have a child or a family that's put in a situation to have to make a hard decision for amputation or whatever moving forward. And I could come in as the doctor to kind of give them that reassurance of saying, it's going to be okay. Look at my life. And I'm going to
Sure.
be there for you, and having that perception, that perspective. And the main thing was I wanted to give back. I wanted to help. I wanted to take my life experiences and apply that to other people's lives to give them hope and strength.
Yeah,
Fast
very
forward,
cool.
as I was going pre-med and getting into picking out medical schools and getting ready for the MCATs and taking my organic chemistry, I was job shadowing. Dr. France is one of my was my mentor for the longest back in Kingsport, Tennessee. I mean, I was scrubbing up and watching surgeries, and just I was ready and planned. And then boom, I get the running legs. And at the beginning when I first received my first pair of running legs, it was just a thought. You know what I mean? I even can go back and check myself when I was doing interviews back in 2010, 2009, and people were asking me like, "Oh, Blake, you're pretty fast. What's your future hold in track and field?" And I'm like, it's whatever. I'm really focusing on school right now. But I got faster and I got faster and I got faster until I had to make it one of the hardest decisions in my life, which was to drop out of college, which I was in my junior year with only a few semesters left, and to pursue my track and field career.
Wow.
And of course, if you ask somebody, you know what I mean, I never really ran. I was only 2-3 years in running. I wasn't on a professional level yet. I was nowhere close near to where I was running, but I took a leap of faith and put myself in a situation to where I had to make it work. Like there was no turning back. When I dropped out of school and moved to California and left everything back in Tennessee to train for the Paralympic Games was probably the best thing that ever happened to me, because it forced myself to figure it out. And even though I never ran a day in my life really, or even though I wasn't there yet on a professional level, I believe deep down internally where I potentially could be yet. And just that little mustard seed of faith that I had within myself and within life and God, that it put me in a situation to where I am today.
Wow. So what year was that? You started training, you dropped out of school, and then you committed
So that
yourself
was
to, yeah.
Yeah, that was in 2010, going in 2011. So I got my
Okay.
first pair of blades and started competing in 2009. And
Okay.
then I got the invite 2010, going in 2011. And then by 2012, I actually tied Oscar Pistorius' world record in the 100 meters. And then that was the same year in 2012 with a year of professional training at the Olympic Training Center, dedicated, you know what I mean, really taking it to
Yeah.
the next level. That's when I took the silver and bronze at the Paralympic Games in 2012.
And that was London, right?
Yeah, that
Was
was
that?
in London. Yeah,
Yeah. And
that was in
that
London.
was the big year for the Blade Runner too, right? I
Oh
mean,
man,
we got, yeah, a lot of
it was
exposure.
crazy. it was crazy. I mean, you have to understand that was the same year in 2012. That was the same year that Oscar Pistorius ran in the Olympic Games. So he made history, being the first amputee ever to qualify for the Olympics. So the whole world not only knew about him, but they was more intrigued and infatuated with the whole Blade Runner conversation. So whether you believe that he had an unfair advantage or not, people were talking about, like, hey, so what about this guy that's running on blades that's in the Olympic Games? What was it, the South African? You know, people were having that conversation. He took 12th, which he ran, I think, 45-3 or 45-4 in the first round, 46 second round, took 12th, really wasn't a threat. But then in return came back into the Paralympic Games. And I'll never forget, it was that 200-meter race. I was in the same race in the finals. And when they mentioned Oscar Pistorius' name, they called his name out. All 85,000, first it was a sold-out stadium because he was running. But all 85,000 people in that Olympic stadium that night stood up and gave him a round of applause, standing ovation, right? And I'm just sitting here just watching the standing ovation to this one man, 85,000 people, right, applauding this one man. And even though it had nothing to do with me, right, then they called my name, and like my mom, my dad, and like 5 people. Like, yeah. I was like, oh God.
It had a lot to do with it.
You know what I mean? I'm like, oh God. But being in that moment changed my life, right? It was such a powerful moment of what could be or what can be, right? And I was like, wow, that's what life is all about. Like, that's what I want. Like, that's what I want to be about. I want to be back here again, but the next time when they mention my name, all 85,000 people are going to be standing up and cheering for me like that.
Yeah, a big motivation for you, huh? Coming through there. And how did that race go?
I took third. I lost. No, I'm kidding. No, it was pretty cool. So in that 200-meter race, man, it's crazy how, like, going back, even though time-wise I was really there, just on a performance level, I just didn't perform at my peak. Even though I still walked away from a medal, so I took a bronze medal in the 200 meters, and then I came back and took a silver medal in the 400 meters. But that exposure was legendary. It was amazing. Like, just being in the call room and you know what I mean. I was the last person to run against Pistorius, unfortunately, before, you know what I mean, he's in the situation that he's in now. So just being in that experience and having that exposure and saying I could be a silver and bronze medalist with what I have now. Imagine what I could do with my life if I take it to the next level. And I told myself I want to be back on that stage.
Yeah. Do you looking back at that? What was going through were you intimidated as heck? I mean, when that I mean, you were probably intimidated going in because he was who he was, pretty fast guy. And
it was crazy.
But then everybody stands up, and yeah, I bet it was just kind of, you gave it your all, though, huh? I mean, third place is pretty dang good. That's
yeah. It was like, I was so nervous just being even around him at the moment, like getting a block. So everywhere he goes, you know what I mean, it was cameras, it was media, it was oh man, I'll never forget that moment right before the gun goes off. All 85,000 people are just cheering, right, screaming. Then somebody comes on the intercom and goes shh, and all 85,000 go complete silent. And then you hear a gun go off, right? Then once the gun goes off, you hear the gun, then the first thing you see is flashes. Just people taking pictures. If you're not moving when the flashes are moving, you're out the race, right? You have to react. You're reacting to all these things that's going on in the crowd. But people were taking pictures of Oscar because of the history that he was. It was just a crazy, unique experience. Going through all of that, and for me to really know what can be done. You know what I mean? Like, just how I was inspired in that moment of, wow, this is what that looks like. I in return, I feel like I have a duty to complete the mission, right? I have a duty to put other people in a situation to hopefully I can run fast enough or get to the highest level enough or qualify for the Olympics enough and get to a final medal enough to where people can, another disabled child or athlete or somebody that could be in that moment and see that and say, wow, that's something special, and that's something. So in return, I can look at them and say, you can do this too, right? Yeah, right. Yeah. Just how I was in the situation and was inspired by somebody, you can too. So go get it. Go fight for it. Go pursue it.
Yeah. What great exposure for the Paralympics back then as well. Just eye-opening for you, for Oscar. everybody who was competing in the games
Right.
back then. Just awesome. Speaking of
Right.
games, we have a situation upon us now. You've been training pretty hard for the 2020 games with some aspirations.
Yes.
What did that training look like up until the announcement? I mean, what were you doing on a daily basis?
Oh man, we was cranked up. These past couple of years I've been living in Los Angeles, and that's really been the game changer for me and in my life, and how I explain it to people. And this is beneficial for the young athletes or whoever, any athlete that wants to take it to the highest level. This is the process what I've learned. When I first started running, it was a hobby, right? It was so fun to put my legs on. I would put them on. I would feel good about myself. I really didn't have no goals. I would just go out there and run, and it was great. Then I moved to San Diego, and it became a job for me, where I would clock in, work 9 to 5, and then once I walked away from my job, I was done, and it was complete. It was over. I wouldn't think about it. I would just do barely enough to get the job done, right? But once I moved to LA, and within these past couple of years, when I've seen the biggest jump in my career and in my life, especially on the track, is when I turned track and field from my job into my life, right? And once I've made it my life and dedicated and put my blood, sweat, and tears into this days in and days out, to where I'm training, I'm doing something every single day. There really isn't an off season anymore. I don't go home anymore. I haven't been home to Tennessee in almost over a year because I'm training. Even in the off season when people are not training, I'm training, right? I'm locked in, I'm focused. And once I made that sacrifice and dedicated, right, and really came to the realization of what has to be given up, right? Hanging out with friends, going out on the weekends, staying up late, right? Going to funerals sometimes, unfortunately, graduations, weddings, whatever parties I can't go, right? Once I made
a lot
that
of sacrifices,
sacrifice, that's when things started connecting for me on the track. That's when I started breaking world records. That's when I started qualifying for national championships, qualifying for the Olympics. That's when the Olympic Committee came to me and said I had an unfair advantage. And that's what. So when I'm training, it's an everyday thing. Whether I'm looking at film, whether I'm in the weight room, you know what I mean. And when I'm recovering, when I'm not training, it's calculated recovery. That means I'm doing it because I'm pushing my body to the limits. And if you can kind of commit to that, any athlete that can come to terms and let's put the disability to the side. I'm sick and tired of athletes saying, well, because it's the Paralympics or because I'm disabled, you know what I mean, or because I'm in a chair, or because I'm this, I don't only have to train twice a week, or I can only get to the gym 3 times a week. That's BS, right? When you have to treat yourself like a high level caliber, Olympic level athlete, when you see yourself like that and treat your career like that, that's when you start getting things done.
Absolutely. Very cool.
So you get me fired up for Tokyo 2021. Aaron.
Let's go.
Come on, don't ask me questions like
I would race you, but I'm a golfer,
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, with all the changes, the COVID crisis, everything just the rug pulled out from under us. The games have been postponed for 2021. How do you adjust to that as somebody that's training every day? You're on a regimen. You have to stay on that, for another year now. Keep up. Everything's closed. You're used to training at Drake, right? Is that where you're training?
Yes, we're used to training. Yeah,
Drake Stadium
UCLA.
At UCLA. That's locked up. You're making stuff up every day, probably trying to figure out what to do.
Yes, and this is the journey to success, or this is the journey to the podium, or to the as we say to that gold medal, is when adversity is thrown into your life and you as an athlete become adjustable and flexible and can maneuver and figure it out, finagle, saying this is the hand that I'm dealt with. So instead of complaining or sitting around, and that's a lesson that I learned with my legs, the fact I was born without legs. If I sit around and complain and say, well, this sucks, I can't, you know what I mean, and start complaining about all the things that I'm losing and what I don't have, right? I'm getting nothing done, right? Who have I helped? What have I accomplished? So me and my teammates, we flip it, reverse it, and choose the latter of saying, okay, this is what we have today. So if this is what we have, let's do as much as we possibly can today, right? And just having that perception, that perspective of, one, not giving up and not quitting, but 2, to have that patience of saying that, our time is going to come, right? if we can just stay patient and consistent through this process, because eventually things are going to get back to normal to somewhat. All right. Eventually, the Olympics are going to happen for me. Eventually, races are going to be back on, and we're going to be racing again, and I'll be back out there trying to qualify again. And once the athletes who kept pushing through this, it didn't get caught up in the negativity and saying, well, what's the point of me training right now? What's the point of me going out there right now? I have a year. Those are the athletes going to be behind. The athletes that kept pushing through and fighting through all this, they're going to be ahead once everything is back to normal.
Yeah. Yeah, just listening to you speak gets me fired up as well. And you know, the message isn't just for athletes too. It's people, you know, everybody that has a disability, you know, they need to step up. You have to work a little bit harder. You gotta, you know, do a little bit more than able-bodied people or whatever. But man, your message certainly resonates. And I know you do a lot of motivational speaking and stuff. You know, are you still doing a lot of that?
Yeah, so, you know, a lot of stuff is actually going online. So I'm trying, you know, I'm working with Nike, and they're bringing me on some meetings and popping in, you know what I mean? But, you know, I'm popping in on some business meetings here and there. So if people need some motivation and inspiration, you know what I mean? Look me up, you know, leaperruns@gmail.com, or you can send me a message on Instagram. If you need some motivation or some inspiration to get you fired up, because I have plenty. But it's through life experiences and life lessons, and one of my duties through my experiences and life lessons is to share that to the next person, or to the next generation, or to anybody who needs it, that's feeling down about themselves, and hopefully by things that I'm learning and navigating through my life, I'm just sharing those experiences to help somebody going through their experiences.
Yeah, and I would highly, anybody listening or watching out there, you know, get a hold of Blake if you're looking for some motivational talk in your organization, your group, because I've seen him speak a few times, had him up here in Minneapolis for an event that we were hosting, and oh my goodness, what a great storyteller, and what a great story to tell. I mean, just, and you sweat a little bit too. You get
I do.
into
I keep a preacher's towel. I don't have it right now because I got the air conditioner. Right? Be at home, I can crank the air. It's like on 60.
Well, you're moving around up there. I mean, you can't help but get motivated.
For amputee, fun fact, everybody, for a double leg amputee, for people who don't know, it's hard for us to regulate our temperatures. So that's a little boop. I don't know if you. It's so hard. I get hot flashes all the time. So
yeah, it's tough. Summers can be tough, and being an athlete, I can't imagine. And some of the technology that you're using to keep a good suction, you know, keep the wheels on. What advice do you have for new runners? I know there's a lot of kids out there getting new blades and trying it out for the first time, and you know, you've got some life experiences. What would you tell them?
The number one advice that I have for new runners, and this is something that I wish, you know, I would have known at the beginning. I kind of learned throughout the process, is wherever you're at in your career, if you're a brand new runner, if you've been training for a year or two, you just got a blade, you're on your way to get a blade, you've had a blade, you know, right? You had a blade, it's been sitting in the back of your car. I've been there, right? It's happened. I would say go out there and run, first and foremost. Go out there and train with track and field and with the sport. And whether you like long distance, there's stuff for long distance. You like short distance, you only like running for a little bit of time, there's stuff for that too. If you like to throw, go out there and throw. There's something out there for you. So first and foremost, go out there and pick and try all kinds of things to figure out what you like and what you're good at. For swimming, I see Rudy, he's a swimmer. Rudy swims. They have triathlons. There's a range full of things. And the second thing is go out there and compete. Don't be afraid to compete with able-bodied people. Don't wait for just Paralympic races. Don't just wait for the Paralympic Junior Nationals, right? So where you're only running against other Paralympians. Go out there and run against your local able-bodied athletes. Go out there and find the biggest, baddest able-bodied runner in your age group or athlete and go at them. Right? And I'm telling you, by doing that, that's building endurance, that's building perception, that's building a mindset of saying, I can beat the best in the world. And even if you do lose, it's going to bring something out of you. So when you do line it up or have to compete against other Paralympians, you're going to be above and beyond. So I encourage you to go out there, compete, win, lose, or draw. put yourself out there on the line and do the best that you possibly can.
Love it. I love it. I just saw Rudy say, "Let Leeper run." You want to talk about that message at all?
Oh, man, yeah. Rudy knows. Let Leeper run. Rudy says, let Leeper run, because the Olympic Committee will not let me run in the Olympics. They say I have an unfair advantage. Of course, like I said, these past couple of years, I've been top 10 in the world, legs, no legs. I broke my world record, went 44.3 last year, and took 6th in the world. And the year before, I was 8th in the world, which qualifying. So for last year, I qualified for World Championships, but the Olympic Committee denied my application. So I'm literally in a fight, a legal battle right now with the Olympic Committee to prove that I don't get an unfair advantage, so I have a fair chance to run in the Olympic Games next year in Tokyo 2021. I'm fast enough. I can do it. I just need that last approval against the Olympic Committee to get into the games next year.
I love it. Run, right? Spread the word.
Let me run. Yeah. So I need everybody to write a 5-page personal letter to the Olympic, 1,000 words.
Triple space.
Just let them know how important it is for me to run in the Olympics. If it doesn't come from you guys, it won't happen. So
I love it. I love it. Well, I kind of failed again at trying to keep up with all these questions because I was just enthralled with your conversation, and somebody asked what category you are. Maybe we can fly through these. What category are you running in?
Category 3. So I run on Ottobock E3s, which I've been running on those for the past couple of years. I love the running blade. For me personally, the Ottobocks have been a great performance for me. You know, I've been wearing prosthetics for a long time, and you really got to take that time to figure out what works for you. Really do that due diligence and reach out and do your research. But there, like I said, kind of going back to the conversation we had earlier, there's so many things out there for amputees now these days that if you have a crazy dream that you want to rock climb or parachute or whatever it is, like don't think because you're missing a leg or you're disabled you can't accomplish it or you can't do it. You can do it.
Yeah, there's so many organizations as well that are willing to help, and that's, I think, how you got your start. So, yeah, very encouraging, sir. I love it. What a great story. Love seeing you. Love hearing from you. Keep it up. I can't wait to track you into 2021 and see what happens. And love what you're doing, Blake. Thank you.
Hey, Aaron, thank you so much. Thank you for this time. Like, I just, you've known me for the past couple of years, and for the people who's been watching my career who don't get to see me much, just know I'm fighting like hell. Like I am giving it all I got. This battle, I'm fighting for a lot of things and a lot of people, but I'm fighting for injustice. I'm fighting for all the discrimination against disabled people, and I'm not going to stop fighting. And there's things to be done, and as the things continue, you're going to see me on that podium. You're going to see me keep breaking world records because they ain't going to stop Aaron. They can't stop me. I'm on a mission. I'm a man on a mission.
I have no doubt, man. And greetings from everybody at Ottobock. They wanted to make sure I said hello to you, and you say hello to the fam, and
will do.
Thanks again. All right, buddy.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
Appreciate it.
All right. Bye now.